What if I told you a European superpower is being forced to retreat from an entire continent? This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover how France's military might is collapsing in Africa and what this means for Kenya's future. President Emmanuel Macron just admitted his country's influence is shrinking. But here's the twist. This isn't a choice, it's a surrender. For decades, French soldiers were the power behind the throne in West Africa. Now they're being kicked out. This is the story of a colonial empire's final gasp. Meet President Emmanuel Macron, the leader of France. In 2017, he stood in Burkina Faso and declared, "There no longer is a French policy for Africa." It was a promise of a new, equal partnership. But here's what nobody's talking about. That promise came from a position of strength. France had just launched massive military operations. There was, as one analyst called it, a form of politico-military euphoria. African governments were begging for French help against jihadists. Fast forward to today. That world is gone, and then something shocking happened. A wave of military coups swept Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The new regimes didn't want French help. They wanted French soldiers gone. Macron says France reviewed, and rightly so, our military bases. He calls it a correction. But here's the part that will blow your mind. Experts say France didn't choose this. Sadiq Abba, a Nigerian academic, told RFI, "It is not true to say that it was France that decided to withdraw. Young Africans saw French bases and the CFA franc as relics of colonialism. The pressure was too much. Paris was, in the words of security analyst Emmanuel Dupay, obliged to adapt to a disengagement it did not choose. This is a reluctant realism. Since 2017, France has ended or drastically reduced its military presence in 7 countries. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, Central African Republic, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal. That's a seismic shift, but here's the twist. With its soldiers gone, France is now trying to play a new game. They're shifting focus from military might to economic ties. They want to play another card, as Abba says. Macron is calling for a rebalanced, equal-to-equal partnership. He says France now seeks partnerships not based on old colonial ties. But can you trust a leopard that changes its spots? The implications are huge for Kenya and East Africa. If France's influence is shrinking in the West, who fills the power vacuum? Russia? China? The US? Some see this as Africa finally breaking free from its colonial past. Others see a dangerous instability, with jihadist groups watching the French retreat. But here's the unanswered question. Is this a true partnership or just a new form of influence? Do you think African nations should trust France's new, equal partnership, or is it too little, too late? Drop your take in the comments. This was the story of France's shrinking footprint in Africa. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking news on how global power shifts affect you.